Right. So as I was saying, when we talk about ratios, we're talking about a relationship that is essentially comparing two similar quantities, and in some instances you actually compare two or more similar quantities, right? So there are some ratios where you might see just two parts to it. There are some ratios where you might see 3, 4, 5, depending on how many things they're trying to compare to each other. Now, the type of ratios we deal with, these ratios tend to compare quantities and give us the relation in which the quantity is, let's say, shared. So in the example that I was talking about, if you use the map for an example, right? If you look at a map where they have a scale on the map, what that scale is indicating is that the image that you're seeing of your map is drawn or created then using a particular ratio, so that you could use the distances on that map proportionally to gauge what sort of distance it is actually. So this is something that you're going to learn later on when you'll start to explore map reading in geography. And it's one of the reasons why understanding your scales, which comes out of understanding ratios, is going to be very, very important. In math problems, you will mainly see them talking about how you share money using ratios, the mixture of ingredients that goes into a cake mix. These are things that you will notice ratios being utilized, right? But you probably, let's say you are accustomed to baking a cake, you probably would never have really taken it on before. That if it is you wanted to bake a cake and you have a particular way in which your ingredients must be used, if you wanted to make multiple of those specific cakes, you would want to multiply your existing recipe by however many. So for instance, if a recipe calls for 2 cups of flour and 3 eggs and a teaspoon of baking powder, if you wanted to make 4 of those, what would you do to get the amount of ingredients you need to make the 4 cakes? Yeah, I heard everybody kind of come together there. You'd multiply the ingredients by 4. And that is essentially understanding how to use the concept of the proportional ratio. Knowing that if it is, I'm going to create a cake that is containing the same sort of mixture, I need to just multiply it for the number of cakes I want to bake. Alright? So